Fine, we can move forward then. So remember, there is something very special. But this is not in your syllabus, don't worry. The entire poem is in quotation marks. So scholars have many arguments regarding the poem. Why is the entire poem in quotation marks? Is someone narrating this to another person? Is this a direct narration? But don't worry, that is not in your syllabus. But there are reasons. Scholars have some arguments of why the entire poem is in quotation marks. But here, don't worry. This right here is outside of our syllabus, so we can talk about other relevant things, but that is a notable trait. If you want, you can go towards the relevant page, right? Farewell to Barn and Stack and Tree, right? That is in page number 5 in your appreciation book. You might for the first time see that this poem is in quotation marks. Brilliant, right? Quite easy. We can move forward, my friend. And then the key technique is euphemism, right? There's a key technique, euphemism. That means you are indirectly saying something. You are not directly saying it. You are indirectly saying something. Now, for example, imagine you have a friend. That friend has made you very angry, right? You are insanely enraged. You are angry at that friend. And you can either tell them, it's like this, I'm going to kill you. Okay, I am going to kill you. You're directly telling them that. But usually, we won't use those words kill, die, savaradu, settu pori, marenawa, mini maranawa. We don't use those words inside home, right? Now, for example, if you have an archie, siya, if you have a ummamma, if you have a grandmother, and you talk about savaradu, if you talk about those things, she'll be like, hey, no, don't talk those things inside the house. Usually, we don't talk about those things inside our home, right? We don't talk about those because they are bad luck. We don't talk about death because they are bad luck. However, my friend, remember, there's euphemism. We can indirectly say something. You can tell the friend, it's like this, I will kill you. Or you can say, in the future, if you get run over by a car, I will be the person who rode that car. Okay? I am indirectly saying that. If you were run over by a car in the future, I would be the person who drove that car. Or if you were shot by a gun, I would be the owner of that gun. That is euphemism. I am indirectly saying that I am going to kill you. Another example. Now, you know, in Islam, okay, I'm a Muslim, by the way. I might not seem like it, but I'm a Muslim. There's a saying, okay, that your mother's feet are your children's, is your heaven, right? That your mother's feet is your heaven. That is or your Jannah. Jannah means heaven, okay? So I have seen some boys saying to girls, it's like this, Tangachi, I want your feet to be my children's future Jannah. That's very complicated, okay? That's very complicated. But remember, in Islam, we say our mother's feet is heaven. Our mother's feet is like heaven, or it is Jannah. So I have seen boys say to girls, it's like this, Tangachi, I want your feet to be my children's Jannah. I want your feet to be my children's heaven. In that case, indirectly they say, I want to marry you. Indirectly they are saying, so if my children are going to call your feet Jannah, that means your children and my children are both the same people. That means we should get married. That is a very complicated way of saying it, but that is euphemism, right? So, our singaling kiyan giyana mehema allanna puluwan nahaya, menna mehema wate gihilla allana eka. You can say something directly, but no, they have masked the blow. They have used other wordings to say something indirectly. That is known as euphemism. Euphemism is a very prominent technique in Farewell to Barn and Stack and Tree. If you look at the text where Farewell to Barn and Stack and Tree has been extracted from, okay, it is called the Shropshire Lad. Don't write this in the exam, out of syllabus. But they have taken this poem from the 125 poems in the Shropshire Lad. Okay, so this is one of those poems. So this has been extracted from the Shropshire Lad. But don't waste your time reading it. Okay, now I love reading, but whatever said and done, you should first read what is in your syllabus. If you have time, then read something outside of your syllabus. But the main idea is, and this age, because you have 9 subjects. Now, I only teach literature, but there are other subjects also, right? So you should spend your time learning what is inside the syllabus. Don't read this novel. Don't read this collection, The Shropshire Lad. It's a book, actually, a collection of poems. Do not read it. Right, fine. Now, whatever said and done, it is fueled with an ambiguous backstory with a hint of sibling rivalry. If you memorize these wordings, you can use them in your analysis. You can use this in the introduction of your analysis. Right. By the way, ambiguous. What does ambiguous mean? Right. Remember, my friends, ambiguous means that nobody knows. It is unknown, ambiguous. Ambiguous backstory. Nobody knows about the background. What happened in the story, what happened before the murder, nobody knows, right? Ambiguous backstory. But we know one thing: sibling rivalry. Sibling rivalry. The rivalry, the hate, the anger, the competition between brothers and sisters or siblings. Brothers and brothers, brothers and sisters, sisters and sisters. They are known as siblings. So sibling rivalry is a very important thing that you find in Farewell to Barn and Stack and Tree. This is sure. Surely we know that there is some sort of sibling rivalry. So we will further talk about these things when we start reading the poem. Right. Now the beginning of the poem, do you understand that the first line, by the way, remember there is a quotation mark here. There is no explanation in our teacher's guide, but it is out of syllabus, so we don't want to talk about it. But remember, the entire poem is in a quotation mark. Right. Remember, this line that you see right here, Farewell to Barn and Stack and Tree, this is the title of the poem also. That is another cool technique. There is no formal name for it, but the title of the poem is also found in the first line, Farewell to Barn and Stack and Tree. Now remember, farewell is a very formal way of saying goodbye, right? And when you say farewell, you don't intend to return again. Farewell forever. Farewell, a very formal way of saying goodbye. Now, when imagine you have a friend, okay, and you talk to that friend and you have fun with that friend, you play games, you study, and when you leave, you will not say, farewell, my good friend. You will say, bye, I'll see you, bye. Okay, bye, I'll see you. That is what you would say, right? Because you will not leave that friend forever. You will again visit that friend. But in school, in your last day, now imagine after your O-levels, you will never be an O-level student again, right? After your O-levels, now most of you will be doing your O-level examination in December. So after your O-levels, my friends, you will not be studying as a O-level student, right? Last day, you will not return as an O-level student. Farewell party. You will have a farewell party. So that is the meaning of farewell. You don't intend to return again. A formal departure. Formally, you are saying, okay, this is perhaps the last time I will be addressing you. Farewell party. But remember, now what is he saying farewell to? Farewell, goodbye, forever to barn and stack and tree. Saying goodbye to animate or inanimate. Are these objects alive? Can they talk? Can the barn say, goodbye, I'll see you? Can the tree say, goodbye, I'll see you? No, they can't. These are inanimate objects. Now imagine in your farewell party, you say, farewell desk, farewell wall, farewell whiteboard. You kiss the whiteboard also. Your teacher will think that you have lost your mind. So people, that your teachers will think that you have lost your mind. But remember, the reason that this person is saying farewell to barn and stack and tree, farewell to all of the inanimate objects, is because he is in a complete shock, right? He is broken, heartbroken. That is why all of these inanimate objects seem important to him, right? He is not in his right mind. So the most important things to this person is barn and stack and tree. This talks about the setting. My friend, we learn this word setting when we learn about a drama. A setting is the location. It's called setting. Setting is the location or the atmosphere, the place where everything is happening. Where do you find a barn and stack and tree? Inside an office, inside your school? No, you find a barn, a stack, and a tree. You find it in a farm area, an area where farmers live, in a kind of a rural area, not in a modern city. You find a barn. A barn is where livestock is kept, right? A barn is found inside a farm. A barn, a stack means haystack, and tree. Tree is a symbol of what? Tree is a symbol of what? Nature. Tree is a symbol of nature. So now what is he saying? He's saying goodbye to his surroundings. Farewell to barn and stack and tree. Farewell to my surroundings. Farewell to Severn Shore, not Severn Shore, Severn Shore. Remember, Severn Shore has two meanings, right? There are two meanings when we are talking about Severn Shore. The first meaning is, my friend, one, it is the largest river in the Isle of England. In the Isle of England, Severn Shore is the largest river. What is the largest river in the world? Not Nile. Nile is the longest river. The largest river is the Amazon River. So equally, the largest river in England is Severn Shore, and also there is a place near the river that is called Severn Shore. So he might be saying goodbye to the river, or he might be saying goodbye to the place. Whatever said and done, the barn, the stack, the tree, and Severn Shore, these are inanimate. These don't have life. They are lifeless. Even a tree can't talk, right? Not in Farewell to Barn and Stack and Tree, but actually in The Nightingale and the Rose, trees talk. If a tree can talk, what is the technique used there? If you want, you can. Now I know. If you know the answer, raise your hands up. I think you might not know the answer. You might think, sir, if a tree can talk, it is personification. You are right. Okay. If a tree can talk, it is called personification. But in Farewell to Barn and Stack and Tree, trees can't talk. Okay. Trees don't talk. This is a very practical, logical story. It is called, my friends, personification. One moment. Where is it? Give me a moment. I've got to take out my pen again. Right. Personification. But, my friend, there is another technique. It's not in your syllabus. Personification is inside your syllabus. But remember, personification is what is found in the eagle, right? The poet sees the eagle as a human, as the poet humanizes the eagle. He sees the eagle as a human. The eagle does not talk. The eagle doesn't act like a human. The poet sees the eagle as a human. But if a tree can talk, the technique is known as anthropomorphism. Anthropomorphism. It's very long, right? Let me write it on the board. If a tree can talk, it is known as anthropomorphism, right? Very complicated, right? The word is very long, anthropomorphism. Some of you might not be able to pronounce also. Anthropomorphism, right? But remember, if trees can talk, animals can talk. If animals are doing something supernatural, trees can't talk, right? Animals can't talk, right? So that is called anthropomorphism. Personification is when we see the animals like humans. When you look at a tree and the tree is standing like a human, the tree is not really a human, but you look at the tree and the tree is standing like a human, it is called personification. You see the tree like a human. You see the eagle like a human. But when the object starts really acting like a human, when the tree starts talking, like the nightingale and the rose, the tree can talk, right? The huntsman, the skull can talk, right? That is called anthropomorphism, but this is out of syllabus. Out of syllabus, but you can write this in the analysis. You can write this in the analysis, but this is out of syllabus. But whatever said and done, in Farewell to Barn and Stack and Tree, is there anthropomorphism? Is there personification in Farewell to Barn and Stack and Tree? I can tell you, even though there is personification, there is no anthropomorphism. Remember, literature is a broad subject. You need a proper teacher with experience to show you all of these methods. Now remember, you can't write anthropomorphism in the first paper because it is outside of the syllabus. But in the second paper, in the analysis, you can write anthropomorphism if it is relevant. Now, for example, in the nightingale and the rose, you can write anthropomorphism. Hands up if this is the first time you have heard the word anthropomorphism. Raise your hands up. We'll see how many of you, right? A lot. A lot of you, right? A lot of you have heard this for the first time. That's completely fine. We learn new things every day, right? That is why I love literature. You learn new things every day. Literature is not always the same. It will change. It will grow. As you grow, literature will also grow. That is something I would like to emphasize here. But remember, apart from that, his farewell to barn. Barn in the sense, barn is a inanimate object. Stack, haystack, inanimate object. Tree, trees can't talk. Inanimate object. Even though now you might say, sir, our science teacher said, sir, that trees are living or no. In English, trees are inanimate objects. We don't care if trees might have life, but in English, if it can't walk, if it can't talk, it is an inanimate object. Right. If it doesn't have a gender, if it can't walk, can't talk, doesn't have a gender, we look at it as an inanimate object. Very sad to say, if it doesn't have a gender, it is not considered as a animate object in English, okay, in the language. Several Shaw is also another inanimate object. But now the first human being is Terence. Terence, come on, look your last at me, for I come home no more. Right. But now we have read the entire first stanza, right? But remember, there's another thing you should write in your analysis. You should say that farewell to barn and stack and tree is a ballad. What's a ballad? Right? A ballad is a poem that is meant to be sung. You can sing that poem. The language is called colloquial language. Colloquial language. That means simple language. It is written in simple language and it is meant to be sung. However, should remember this. Now you might think, sir, father and son. Father and son is a song, sir. It also must be a ballad, right? No. Father and son is not a ballad. I'll tell you why. Father and son is a duet. It's not clear, one moment. Father and son is a duet or duet. Some people say duet. The right pronunciation is duet. Father and son. This is a ballad. The reason we call this a ballad is because this has a formal rhyming scheme. Don't worry, all of the notes will be given to you. You can find it in the analysis. You can find that farewell to barn and stack and tree is a ballad in the analysis that I have also uploaded. That if you have not gotten the tunes, you can message me. I will send you not only the tunes of farewell to barn and stack and tree, but all of the lessons that I have. Right. Now, why is farewell to barn and stack and tree a ballad? And why is father and son not a ballad? I'll tell you why. Farewell to barn and stack and tree has a rhythm. Has a rhythm. One moment, I have spelled this wrong. I can't, I have to erase this. One moment. I can't undo these things. I want to erase this. Give me a moment. It has a rhythm. Right. Right. Now, when we talk about farewell to barn and stack and tree, my friends, remember there is a proper rhythm here, and that is there is a kind of a beat you find inside of this stanza, right? Farewell to barn and stack and tree, farewell to sever and show. Do you understand? There's a rhythm. There's like you're marching. Farewell to barn and stack and tree, farewell to sever and show. But father and son, I was once like you are now, and I know that it's not easy. That is the song. There is no rhythm. But if you talk about farewell to barn and stack and tree, there is a rhythm. Right? So as I was saying, my friend, you should understand that because of the rhythm, because of there is a rhythm in farewell to barn and stack and tree, my friends, easily we can easily say, we can easily call it a ballad, right? But now in this case, we see a person called Terence, right? Now, when we are talking about Terence, we see that Terence must be a close person to the narrator. We call him the nameless narrator, the person who is narrating the poem. We call him the nameless narrator. Right. We call him the nameless narrator because, my friends, we do not know him by his name, right? Even when you are writing, right? Even when you are writing the analysis, right? Even when you are writing the analysis, remember, my friends, you should definitely mention that this is a nameless narrator. You don't say the narrator. You don't call him the poet. You call him the nameless narrator. And remember, when the narrator is the main person in a poem, you can call him the protagonist. But to be honest, we use the word protagonist when we are talking about a novel, or when we are talking about a short story, when we are talking about other dramas, we use the word protagonist, right? However, my friend, remember, in this case, in this example, we understand that this, the narrator and the main person of this poem are both the same person. That means it is been narrated in the first person, right? This poem is being narrated in the first person. But to be honest, we don't want to talk about those things. They are a bit complicated. Let's come back to this character known as Terence, right? So after the poet says goodbye to all of these inanimate objects, after the narrator, the nameless narrator, says goodbye to all of these inanimate objects, right? We see that Terence is the next person who is addressed. So Terence must be a close person. Now, when you are saying goodbye to your friends, will you first say goodbye to your enemies? Fatima, you can't stand Fatima. Will you say, goodbye, Fatima? You know, you will say goodbye to your closest friends, right? You will not even care about your enemies. You will not even care about the people who you are angry with. So Terence must be a close person to this nameless narrator. If you can, please take a screenshot of this what's it called, slide, because these you can't find in the presentation. You can find these ideas in the analysis. So the presentation is simple, but these are some notes for you, something extra. If you can take a screenshot of this, we call him the nameless narrator. There is a rhythm. This is the father and son, right? Father and son is a duet. Father and son. Cat Stevens, father and son is a duet, but this is a ballad, my friend. We will talk about all of these things. So take a screenshot of this. There is another new word you learned today, anthropomorphism. That means when trees can talk, when people can talk, when animals can talk like people. It is called anthropomorphism. But personification is when we see something that is not a human like a human, right? For example, the sighing trees. Trees are sighing. The narrator of I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings sees that the trees are sighing like humans, like this. Sighing like humans. All right, we can move forward. Now, let me explain the first stanza. In the first lines of the narration, the narrator begins by utilizing the line that later becomes the title. Remember, what is mentioned in the title is also mentioned in the first line. Farewell to barn and stack and tree is also mentioned in the first line. He bids farewell to a barn, a stack, meaning a conical pile of hay. A conical means like a cone, a pile of hay, or a haystack, and a tree. These are specific images associated with a specific place. This is a farm, obviously a farm. A person inside a farm should most probably be an engineer, doctor. A doctor is in the farm. No, a farmer. A person inside a farm is obviously a farmer. So we can assume that this person must be a farmer. Do you feel like a detective now? You might say, no, sir, I don't feel like a detective. But remember, because we are dissecting every word in the poem, you feel like you are a detective. Right? Now, we understood that this man is in a farm. He must be a farmer. Terence must be his best friend, right? Terence, look your last at me, for because I come home no more. He will never return again. We understood this through the wording farewell, right? We understood that the narrator or the nameless narrator is not going to come home anymore because of this word right here, farewell, right? So if you understood this part, we can move forward. Right. Apart from that, remember the Severn is the largest, not longest, largest river in the UK, along with many of the most popular cities are situated. You can find many popular cities near Severn shore. Now, for example, you know the Kalani Ganga, the Kalani River. Part of the Kalani River is near Kalania, right? So do you understand? Even though there is a separate river called Kalania, there is a place that is called Kalania also. Equally, even though this river is called Severn Shore, there can be a place, there is a place called Severn Shore also, like Kalani River and Kalania, like the Amazon rainforest and the Amazon River, like Severn Shore, the river, and Severn Shore, the location. The Severn is the largest river in the UK or the United Kingdom, along with many of the most popular cities where the popular cities are situated. In the third line, the speaker addresses one of his intended listeners, someone named Terence. He asks the person to take a look at him as he's never going to come home after this moment. As the first stanza, these lines do their job well, there is a great deal of mystery imbued in them. That means you can find mystery. What is mystery? You can't find a solution to the problem. You don't know what it is. Something unknown, mysterious, mystery imbued in them, simply because the reader has no idea who the characters are or what is driving the speaker away. To be honest, when we read the first stanza, we know that the speaker or the narrator is leaving. However, we do not know why the narrator is leaving forever. He's not going to return. Terence, Machang, I will see you tomorrow. No, farewell. Terence, look at me one last time, because I will not come again. I will not see you again, for I come home no more. And remember the rhythm, farewell to barn and stack and tree, farewell to Severn shore. So remember the rhythm also. That is quite important. That is why we called it a ballad. Is someone forcing him? The way the lines are phrased make it seem as if he regrets it. I believe I have lost the connection. Give me a moment. Let me enable chat. Give me a moment, right? I can enable the chat. Yeah, I'll enable the chat actually. Apologies. Right, one moment. I believe you might have heard some of my lecture. So that sometimes happens, right? You can hear me, right? Yes. Akil, yeah, you can. Fine, amazing. Can hear me? Can someone send me a message if you were able to hear all of the things I told in this slide? Stanza number 1. Let me share the screen again. Can you please confirm? Yes, you heard, right? You heard it. Amazing. That is very easy, to be honest. I thought I had to do that again. Fine. So you can communicate with me through messages also. Apparently, messages were turned off. Right. Then we can move forward. In the third line, the speaker addresses one of his intended listeners, someone named Terence. He asks this person to look at him as if he's never going to come home after this moment. Very dramatic, right? What is dramatic? That means it is like a movie, like a drama. Look at me one last time, Terence. I'm not going to come home again, Terence. Look at me one last time. Very dramatic, right? Like a movie, like a drama. Right. Yes. The father and son thing I will explain. Give me a moment. Don't worry. No, I will after I have explained this here. So as I was saying, my friend, let me turn off my Wi-Fi in the phone also. Right. As I was saying, my friend, now this is mysterious. It's mystery. We don't know what is going on. Is imbued, that means it is found, it is inside, imbued in them simply because a reader has no idea who the characters are or what is driving the speaker away in. Give me a moment, please. Right, fine, fine. So inquiry from a student actually. I will answer all of your inquiries, don't worry. Right. So here, is he leaving willingly? Is someone forcing him? The way the lines are phrased makes it seem as if he regrets leaving. That means he does not want to leave. He regrets leaving. But this is only the hint Hausman presents the reader with so far. Right. There is another question that you wanted to ask. That is, why is father and son a duet, and why is farewell to barn and stack country a ballad? Let me change the color. Give me a moment. Why is farewell to barn and stack country a ballad? Right. A ballad is a poem that uses simple language, and also you should remember it is colloquial language, and also there is a formal rhyming scheme, a formal rhythm actually. There's a formal rhythm, right? So as I was saying, farewell to barn and stack country, there is a rhythm. There's some kind of a marching rhythm inside of it. That is why this is known as a, it is known as a ballad. But remember, father and son, even though you can sing father and son, there is no rhythm. I was once like you are now, and I know that it's not easy. There is no rhythm. It is just a song. But in father and son, remember, we see, apologies, in farewell to barn and stack country, there is a formal rhyming scheme. That is why we call it a ballad. That is why father and son is not a ballad, because there is no formal rhythm. Right. We talked about the explanation of the first stanza. There are some words you need to learn here. Yes, I will send you my right. I will send you my phone number. We will talk about all of these things. The class will be over before 8 o'clock. Don't worry. Right. Yes. There is a huge difference between anthropomorphism and anaphora. We will talk about those. Don't worry. In the end, I will give you a chance. I will give you a chance to ask me your questions, and I will answer all of them without any problem. Right. Now, remember, when we are talking about farewell, farewell means, and no, this one I will not upload on YouTube, sadly. There are some lectures you can find on YouTube. This one I will not upload on YouTube. Right. So here, farewell means goodbye. Right. Apart from that, barn is where all of the animals in a farm is housed. Tree is a symbol of nature. Severn Shore is the longest river in the Isle of England, and also it is alliteration. Severn Shores is alliteration. It is when you have two adjacent words that begin with the same sound together. Some people have names that are alliterations. Now, for example, in the Lahore attack, my friends, we see that there is this person called Tilina Tushar. That is an alliteration. There is a student in my class. Her name is Fatima Fahim. That is a alliteration. Hands up if your name is an alliteration. Raise your hands up if your name is an alliteration. Right. This name, Amani Ashik. Amani Ashik. That's right. That's a beautiful name, Ashik. That is Fatima Fahim is here. That is an alliteration. Ishra Ifham. That is an alliteration. What else? Shamrin Shafi. That is an alliteration. Yes, that's right. Right. So as I was saying, yeah, Muhammad, I can't see your other name, my friend. Yeah, Rukeya Rias. That is an alliteration. Right. Well done, my friends. Your parents know literature very well. That is why they named you with an alliteration. All right, fine. Yeah. Um, why not? How can we forget? I think he left the meeting. Hilmi Hassan. That is an alliteration, right? So that's amazing. That is beautiful. That is such a coincidence. I did not even know. I don't even think Hilmi sir is in the meeting. Right? No, he has left, I believe. Right. But apparently, those of you might know Hilmi Hassan. He's the owner of the EduZone website. Even his name is an alliteration. Very recently, he got married. Hilmi Hassan got married very recently. Sadly, he did not invite your Javed sir. Javed sir has not yet even thought of getting married, sadly. Because even though you might think I'm an outgoing person, I'm a very shy person in real life. I'm very reserved. Even though you might in classes, in right, moro to single. All right. What's it called? Even though in classes and in seminars I'm very outgoing, real life I'm very silent, very reserved. So I have not even thought of getting married recently. Right. So as I was saying, um, but in that case, like, don't get ideas, okay? Sir, are you? My God, sir, you're single, but sir, you're so handsome, money. Don't send me messages like that, okay? So I get some messages like that also once in a while, and I tell them, dude, I'm like 10 years older than you are, so get your head out of the gutter, right? But as I was saying, Hilmi Hassan is a alliteration, righto. So what is an alliteration? Adjacent words begin with the same sound. When you find two words near each other, adjacent words, and they begin with the same sound, that is known as an alliteration. Stanza number 2. The sun burns on the half-mown hill. By now the blood is dry. Now remember, the sun is not burning. The sun is not shining. The sun is burning. It's called, now the technique used here, this is also not emphasized in the syllabus. Now in the syllabus we have alliteration, we have hyperbole, simile, we have imagery, right? But this is also another prominent technique. It is known as connotation. Connotation, right? Now when you say the sun is shining, right? When you say the sun is shining, beautiful, sun shining. Sun is burning, the sun is burning. Is that a pleasant imagery or an unpleasant imagery? It is unpleasant, right? When you say the sun is burning, right? Sun shining is beautiful, sun burning, that means we can feel the heat, right? We can feel the heat. So as I was saying, remember, my friends, the word burning is a connotation. It gives us another emotion, right? Another example, we can say cheap, we can say affordable. Machang, my t-shirt is cheap. Cheap t-shirt, cheap. It was not that expensive, right? But if you say, my t-shirt was so affordable, my t-shirt was cheap, cheap, useless. My t-shirt was so affordable. In both of these examples, we see that I have not paid much money for my t-shirt. My t-shirt is cheap, I paid very little money. My t-shirt was so affordable, I paid so little for it. The second example sounds more beautiful, right? Sounds more valuable. So when you say cheap, you take down the price and the value, cheap. But when you say affordable, you take down the price, but you don't take down the value. Right. So let's move forward, my friends. In this case, and Maurice amongst the hay lies still, and my knife is by his side. The sun burns on the half-mown hill. Mowing means you are cutting what? Now, have you seen, there are some movies or some TV series, people have lawn mowers. They are cutting what? The grass. Mowing is another word you can use to say that you are cutting grass. The sun burns on the half-mown hill. Now, they are on a hill, okay? They are on a hill. Hill is not a mountain. A hill is a highland, but not like a mountain. Mountain has a peak. The hill does not have a peak. The hill is a highland, but the hill does not have a peak. There's a gradual height, not a peak, not a completely visible peak. That is a hill. So the sun burns on the half-moon hill. The blood has, by now the blood has dried, right? Now from this we get an idea. Now talking about blood, right? So yeah, the hill is like a field. The hill, like I said, it's not a mountain. It is a highland, and it is also, they are also on a field. The hill is something like that. So remember, the blood, by now the blood has dried. Now when you say blood, is it a positive imagery? Ah, blood, my God, blood, brilliant. Imagine while you are on the road, there's blood on the road, blood splattered all over the road. You'll be like, my God, blood, brilliant, Ane, I love blood. So beautiful, right? As I was saying, remember, my friend, you have to understand the word blood brings in such a negative imagery. Blood is beautiful when it's inside our body. Once blood come out, it is not beautiful, my friends. Ladies, before blood, when blood is involved, my friend, it becomes very ugly, right? It becomes an ugly scene when there is blood, right? So remember, when blood is inside the body, everything is beautiful. But when blood starts coming out, it's a very negative, gross imagery that will make you sick, right? So imagine like blood and flesh on the road, it will make you sick, right? Some people, they faint when they see blood. Hands up. When I was a kid, when I saw blood, I would faint. Hands up if you have that problem. If you see blood, you faint. Few of you, very few of you. It's a very rare condition. Now, for example, when they test my blood, right? Even though I pretend like I'm not afraid. Now, for example, when you want to take your license, when you want to apply for a license, you have to get your blood checked. So they will prick your finger with a needle and they will get your blood. So I remember I did not show that I was afraid, but I remember when they pricked my finger, I was so dizzy. I had to sit down. Right, fine. Give me one moment. Let me, there is a small issue here. Let me change the chat settings. One moment. How do you change it? Right. Right. I'm not sure how to make chat settings. Give me one moment. I have to do a very small thing. Yes. Right. Fine. Now you can only chat with me. You can't chat with anyone else. Right. We have edited the settings. Right. So I remember when they tested my blood, I felt so dizzy, man. But I could not show everyone I was dizzy because I'm tall, I'm big. So I pretended like everything is okay. But then instantly I went and I sat down because when I see blood, I feel dizzy. Right. And Maurice, amongst the hay lies still, and my knife is by his side. Now, even though the word murder is not used, right? The word murder is not used. We know that someone has murdered another person. My knife is by his side. The blood is dried. Maurice amongst the hay lies still. That means the narrator is the murderer. The narrator has murdered Maurice, even though the word kill is not used, even though the word murder is not used. We can easily understand that the narrator was the person who murdered Maurice. Right. I believe it's lagging. Give me a moment. Right. We'll talk about Maurice. Don't worry. We'll talk about Maurice. Now, there is a new person introduced here. His name is Maurice. Right. So now we know Maurice's blood has dried, right? Maurice's blood has dried. How will blood dry? When blood is inside your body, will it dry? No. When blood is let out, blood dries. When you put blood out of your body, blood dries. But remember, when we talk about Maurice, now Maurice's blood has left his body. Okay. And what else? There's a knife. Whose knife is this? Whose knife is this? The narrator's knife. My knife. Not Javed sir's knife. Okay, don't like call out. Javed sir's knife. Okay, 119. Hello. No. This is the narrator's knife. Well done. Well done, Hamna. So my knife is by his side. Maurice amongst the hay. Maurice is amongst the hay. Can everybody see him? If Maurice is amongst the hay, the haystack is very tall. If Maurice is amongst the hay, can everybody see him? There's a dead man there. My God, no. Maurice is hidden inside of the hay. And my knife is by his side. The narrator is saying this to Terence. The narrator is saying this to Terence, and my knife is by his side. Now, there's something you should remember here. This is called euphemism. Let me write it down here. Let me change the color, a lot more easily visible color. Euphemism. Let me use another color also because it's not that clear. Black will be very clear. Euphemism. Right. Euphemism means you are indirectly saying something. Now, there was a child. The child asked me, sir, there is a technique called anthropomorphism. Anthropomorphism, my God, such a long word, right? What is, right. And yes, there is alliteration also, half moon, hill, alliteration. Those are easy, don't worry. Now, there is another technique. You are beginning two adjacent lines with the same word, okay? You are beginning two adjacent lines with the same word. The technique is called Anaphora. The technique is called Anaphora. You are beginning two adjacent lines with the same word, Anaphora. Anthropomorphism means you are imagining or you are giving inanimate objects the power to act like humans. You are giving a tree the power to talk. You are giving a cat the power to walk like a man, to wear clothes like a man. No, not repetition. That is the mistake. This is not repetition. This is anaphora. Repetition cannot be found in the beginning of the line. If you want, do your research. Repetition, my friend, is used in the middle of the lines. Repetition, or sometimes the entire line is repeated. That is repetition. However, my friend, this right here, this is anaphora. So anthropomorphism is like personification. Anthropomorphism is vaguely similar to personification. But anaphora is vaguely similar to repetition. But repetition, you find repetition everywhere. It can be in the beginning, the end, it can be in the middle. But anaphora, my friend, it is only found in the beginning of adjacent lines. The lines should be close by, and also the lines should begin with the same word. By the way, remember, hill rhymes with still, dried rhymes with side. The rhyming scheme is A, B, A, B. Remember, the rhyming scheme, my friend, is A, B, A, B. That's fine. We know what happened in the second stanza. So now we know there is a character known as Maurice. Maurice was murdered. The nameless narrator was the person who murdered Maurice. Don't worry, Rishda, all of the techniques are found inside the presentation. You can see here. Right, give me a moment. The second stanza explained. In the second stanza, the narrator goes on. He informs the reader briskly, directly, without any hesitation, briskly and emotionlessly. Is he saying, I killed my brother Maurice. I'm very sorry for killing him. No. The sun burns on the half-moon hill. By now the blood is dried. Maurice amongst the hay lies still, and my knife is by his side. I hope you can hear me, my friends. I hope that you can clearly hear what I'm saying. All right. Right. As I was saying, yeah, you can hear me. Amazing. Right. It's clear. So here, what do we see here? He's emotionless. Does he feel, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Maurice, for murdering you? No. Maurice amongst the hay lies still. My knife is by his side. He's nonchalantly, Emotionlessly, he is narrating what he said. So remember, if this isn't bad enough, right? Remember, emotionlessly, that someone has died. A man named Maurice is amongst the hay, he lies still. No, my friend, he does not regret murdering Maurice. He regrets leaving his mother. He regrets leaving his town. He does not regret murdering Maurice. There is no line that says that he regrets murdering Maurice. He regrets leaving his town. He regrets leaving his mother. If this isn't bad, remember, the man named Maurice is amongst the hay, he lies still. Still means he's not moving. Without moving, he's lying still. That means there is a very powerful imagery. We understand that. This example right here, this talks about the fact that Maurice is dead. If this isn't bad enough, the speaker admits that his own knife, the speaker's knife, the narrator's knife, the nameless narrator's knife is by Maurice's side. It is assumable that the narrator killed Maurice. For unknown reasons, we don't know. In the poem, they don't tell us a reason. In the teacher's guide, there is a reason of a love triangle. In the teacher's guide, there is a reasoning that says that there was a love triangle, but in the poem, we can't find the reason. We have to assume the reason. There can be any reason, to be honest. A Houseman has never said a proper, particular reason. Right. Don't worry, I will give a interval also. In a few minutes, I'll give you an interval also. Right. The seminar will be over before 8 o'clock. So don't worry. And must due to the pursuit of law. Now, when you do something wrong, when you murder someone, will the police be like, sorry, poitu vaanga ninga? No problem, hey, you killed, fine, go, me leave. Will the police be like that? No, the police will arrest you. The police will arrest you. So your pursuit means the police will chase after him. Pursuit of the law means police, the justice system. The law is pursuing this murderer, the nameless narrator. That is why he leaves home. So if you have done a murder, you can't go home and you can't stay at home like nothing happened, right? You have to pursue. You have to avoid the pursuit of law. You have to escape. You have to run away from the police. Why? What's the reason? What is the reason? Why did this happen? Because the narrator, the nameless narrator, could not control his emotion. That is a lesson you can learn from this poem. Sometimes we get really angry, right? Now, when I get angry, sometimes I don't even think about what I'm doing, right? Exactly. We are impulsive. Well done, Abdul. We are impulsive. So when we get angry, we don't think about what we do, but we can do something serious. Very recently, you know the suitcase story? The policeman who had committed that crime, he was enraged, right? He was enraged. He was overcome by anger. He was impulsive. That's why he committed the crime, right? So once you have committed a crime, you cannot escape. That person was a policeman. The suitcase story, the person who committed that crime was a policeman. So if you watch the news very recently, but even he could not escape from the law. Even he had to commit suicide to escape from his fate. What you should remember is you should not be a slave to your emotion. Now, I am a person, I control my emotion so much. Being a teacher, now even you might have done this. Sometimes kids try to make teachers angry. They try to, push teachers. But I believe there's a teacher's duty, right? A teacher should understand should try to understand the emotion of the child. Now, we can get angry, we can lash out, we can hit kids, but that is not the proper method. We can persuade kids, we can influence kids, we can advise kids, right? We can understand. Now, for example, now there are some children in our school, right? When we are in the classrooms now, and these days we teach in the hall. Now, these days I teach in the hall because we are not yet allowed to have a proper classroom. We can't put kids inside the classroom. Everybody is in the hall. Everybody is very far away. One kid is here, another kid is somewhere there. So there is a huge space between children. Children, they wear masks, okay? Children, they wear masks and they make unnecessary sounds like whoo, they make unnecessary sounds. So So some teachers, they get angry. They lash out and they yell, they leave the classroom. But I don't. I find out that child. I find out who is that child who made that sound in a very kind way. In a very kind way, I find out the child who made that sound. I go and talk to him. In the end, he has problems. In home, he has problems. His mother, his father, they are constantly fighting. He doesn't understand the syllabus we are teaching in school. Sometimes children have problems because of love problems, right? That's a normal thing. In your age, people fall in love in 16, 17, 15. People fall in love. That is unpreventable, right? If you don't fall in love, there's something wrong with you. Everyone has a crush, right? You see someone, you get a crush. The problem is sometimes because of that they have problems. So when I talk to them, and I talk to them like a friend, right? They tell me everything. Sometimes they cry, but we try to keep things privately as possible with us. That's why I did not mention anyone's names. But then what you should understand is this they once they open up, they are completely free. They apologize. They say, no sir, I was facing some problems on my own. That's why I showed you my anger inside the classroom. So I believe now I can hit a kid, right? Now you might not know I'm a really strong person. Now I can hit a kid, but that will only increase the problem. That will only aggravate the situation. But if I am able to control my rage, if I am able to talk with the kid in a kind way, because to be honest, like I said, we have no idea what problems people are facing. You might be a normal person, you might look happy, but inside you might be dying. Best example, Richard Corey. There are many Richard Coreys in the world, right? Even you might be a Richard Corey. Even I might be a Richard Corey. Nobody knows. But remember, that is why I believe you should be able to control your anger to the maximum. If someone comes to attack you, someone comes to hit you, then obviously you have to fight back. Like, don't be like, when someone is about to hit you, they take like a club and a cudgel, a kind of a club, and they come to hit you. No, Javed sir said that we have to control our anger, then hit them or run away, do something. But don't hurt people in an unnecessary way. That is the advice I want to give you. Another example, very recently I saw a person on YouTube, right? This person commented in a very hateful way. They said that my teaching is not good. My accent, something is wrong with my accent, right? But if you look at my YouTube videos, I never, I never yell at them. I never talk in an unkind way. I tell them, thank you, my friend. Thank you for your critique. Thank you for expressing your ideas, because we don't know what kind of a person they are. Sometimes they might be depressed. Sometimes they might be facing many problems in their life, right? So as I was saying, it's very easy to hurt someone. You can hurt someone like this, but once you break them, once you cause them pain, sometimes that pain might lead towards suicide. Sometimes it might lead towards depression. And why should we do that, right? Why should we hurt people? That is my policy. And even though you might think, why will someone suicide? No, even I am a person who has tried to commit suicide. Even though you can't say, Javed sir, he seems like a happy person. Very long ago, around 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago, even I was a person who tried to commit suicide. A small thing, a small problem is enough to make someone depressed to commit suicide, right? Now, for example, imagine someone is really sad, someone is heartbroken, and you do one small thing. That breaks the camel's back, like the straw that broke the camel's back. There's a saying. So you might do one small thing. You might make fun of a person. You might hit someone. You might humiliate someone. But sometimes that might be enough. That might be a very good reason for that person to let go of their life. Right. Saying that, the importance, the morale you can learn from this poem is that you should control your emotion. The first 2 lines of this stanza are shocking, right? The scene is further intensified by the burning heat of the sun and the dried blood in the murder scene. That means the sun is hot. Is it a comfortable situation? The wind is blowing, right? The wind is blowing in his face. It's raining lightly. No, right? It's a hot, unbearable, uncomfortable situation. The sun is burning. He can't stand outside. The sun is burning. on the half-moon hill. Exactly. Think twice before you act. Don't be a slave to your emotion. Control your rage. That's the morale you can learn from this poem. Right. The sun shines versus sun burns. Remember, when the sun is burning, the situation is intensified. The technique is called connotation. It's not in our syllabus, but remember, connotation. Now, connotation means the sun is shining. Ah, beautiful, sun is shining. Sun is burning. It is not a positive imagery. Euphemism is also used here, my friends. The narrator euphemistically says that he has committed a murder. The narrator says that he has committed a murder, my friends. Right? He does not say it in a direct way. He doesn't say, I killed Maurice, I killed the bugger. No. Maurice amongst the hay lies still. My knife is by his side. That is euphemism. Exactly, Hafsa. Indirectly. That's right. By the way, the moral or the moral of the story is that you should control your anger. You should not be a slave to your anger. You might want to kill someone. You might want to hurt someone. You might want to attack someone. But you should control yourself. No, the narrator and the author, the poet, are two different people, right? Narrator is an imaginary person. A.E. Housman did not commit a murder, don't worry. But the narrator is a fictional person who has committed a murder. Right. The third stanza, my mother thinks us long away, 'tis time the field were mown. Repetition. Half mown hill, but now the field, right? Remember, hill is not a mountain. Now we have mountains, right? Mountains are like this. A mountain. But a hill is something like this. There is a gradual incline. That's a hill, right? So this hill and the field are the same place, right? Don't worry. Don't think there's a separate hill, there's a separate field. No, the hill and the field are the same place. Right. Yes, I will be sharing this through WhatsApp. Don't worry, I'll give you an interval. In the interval, I will write down my number on the screen. Send me your message as soon as possible. If you are late, then I might take some time to send you the tunes. So if you send me your message as quick as possible. If you are new, if you don't have my number, if you are new, then I will be sharing all of the tunes with you very soon. Not only Farewell to Barn and Stack and Tree, I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings, Nightingale and the Rose, The Bear, the Twilight of a Crane. I'll tell you. I will tell you what you should send, by the way. So my mother thinks us long away, 'tis time the field were mown. She had 2 sons at rising day, tonight she'll be alone. My mother thinks us long away. Mama, my mother. Now remember, the word mother is so beautiful, right? The word mother. That's why whenever someone uses profanities to your mother, when someone scolds your mother, you get angry, right? The word mother is such a sacred, such a beautiful word. My mother thinks us long away, 'tis time the field were mown. It was time. Now we should cut the grass. Mowing means cutting the grass. We should have cut the grass in the field. My mother thinks we are far away, cutting the grass in the field. 'Tis time the field were mown. She had 2 sons, right? So there are 2 people. There's the narrator. Let me change the color. Give me a moment, please. Take out the eraser. Let me change the color. There's the narrator. Right. And then there is Maurice. This should be capital M, Maurice, and there's the narrator. Right. When we are talking about Maurice and the narrator, there are 2 sons. They have a mother, right? They have a mother. Forgive my drawing, okay? I'm not an art teacher. I'm a literature teacher. I did not do art for my A-level. I did literature. For my O-level, I did literature. Right. Mother. Now, these 2 have the same mother. Maurice has 1 mama, and the narrator, both of them have the same mama, same ammi. What does that mean? They are what? They are what? They are brothers, right? Brilliant, brilliant, Abdul. They are brothers. Siblings, brilliant. I told you there's a word. 'Sibling rivalry'. 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 'Sibling ri That's the word we should talk about. Tis time the field were mown. Tis is another word. Tis is another word for it is. Tis is another word for it is. This is called colloquial language. That means informal English. Tis time the field were mown. She had 2 sons at rising day. Tonight she'll be alone. When the day began, she had 2 sons, but tonight she will be alone. Why will she be alone tonight? What's the reason? If she had 2 sons, you're right, exactly. If she had 2 sons, right? One son is now dead. One son is now dead, and the other son is going to run away, right? The other son, exactly. He's about to escape. He's about to make a great escape. That means she has not lost only one son, she has lost 2 sons, right, my friends? So one son is dead and the other son is about to escape. Right. The other son is about to escape. That is why she is going to be alone, right? Remember, it is called colloquial language. He might go to prison. We don't know if he really does go to prison, but we know he's going to run away. He's not going to stay there until the cops come, until the police come to convict him. Right. The stanza explained, the 3rd stanza of Farewell to Barn and Stack and Tree continues the speaker's tale. He describes his mother and her fate. With these details, the speaker's crime becomes even more dramatic. It turns out that Maurice was his brother. His mother is going to be expecting her 2 sons to come home tonight, but instead she'll be alone. The speaker appears to be well aware of the consequences of his action. The consequences, remember the word consequences means not consequences. Some people say consequences. No, consequences. Result. Well done. Result. That means the narrator knows what is going to happen. He knows the outcome. Well done, Hafsa. Well done, Abdul. He knows the outcome of his actions. He knows he has murdered his brother. Not a normal thing, right? Murdering your brother is not like killing a mosquito, right? Murdering your brother is a dramatic, is a negative, is a unthinkable thing. Apart from that, what is the result? His mother, perhaps an old woman, she has to be alone forever, right? The son can never return. After 2-3 weeks he can return. Can he return? Will the son be able to return after 2 or 3 weeks? No. The mother should live alone for the rest of her life. She will feel the pain. He knows that she will feel the pain. But does he have a choice? No. This is a lose and lose situation, not a win-win situation, loss situation. That means if he runs away, the mother will be alone. If he stays, also the mother will be alone. Why? He will be arrested. When they start looking for the brother, obviously they are going to find him, right? He can bury the brother, he can burn the brother, but even then he will be caught, right? Because the police can find out how this person was killed, what happened to him, who was the person with him in the end. Right. That's a very good question. Now Fatima asks me a question. Right. It is right, and a very good word from Abdul also. Fratricide. That means killing your brother. Fraternity means fraternal means brother. Fraternal means brother. Fratricide means killing your brother. That's right. Does the narrator feel guilty? The narrator does not show remorse for killing Maurice, but the narrator feels guilty because he is leaving his hometown and he is leaving his mother. He does not feel guilty for killing Maurice, but he feels guilty because he is now deserting his mother and he is leaving his hometown. Juxtaposition is used again in the lines as the speaker recalls how the two were meant to mow the lawn, but instead the day ended in murder and loss. Right, remember, this is very advanced. You should be very careful. There is one level of juxtaposition. If you can, don't talk about this in the analysis. Like I said, it's very complicated, but there is one level of juxtaposition. The mother thought that they should be mowing the field, right? They should be mowing the hill. But really, one brother has murdered another brother. Mother thinks, okay, I have two sons. Reality, she does not even have a single son. Juxtaposition. It's called juxtaposition right here. My friend, juxtaposition is when you are contrasting two opposite things. Happiness and sadness. Rich, poor. Fatima, I know why the cage bird sings, right? I know why the cage bird sings. There is juxtaposition, right? There is the free bird and then there is the cage bird. Juxtaposition. But there is another kind of juxtaposition found in this poem, and that is the mother thinks that she has two sons, but the reality is she does not even have one son. She'll be alone. Exactly, Ishra. I know why the cage bird sings. Juxtaposition is used in these lines as the speaker recalls how the two were meant to mow the lawn, but instead the day ended in murder and loss. That is the juxtaposition used here. Another example, don't worry, my friend, I will give you the break after this. At sharp 6 o'clock, I will give you a break, then we can continue. There's another example here, black and white. You take a dark person, you take a fair person, put them together. The dark person seems very dark, the fair person seems very fair. Juxtaposition, comparing and contrasting two opposite things. But remember, it doesn't matter if you are dark, it doesn't matter if you are fair. Sri Lankans look good despite our color. If we are fair, also Sri Lankan looks good. Sri Lankans look good. Even if we are dark, also Sri Lankans look good. Only Western people bought in the idea of what and lovely. Western people bought in the idea of fair and lovely. Sadly. But to be honest, back in the day, long time ago, people were treated equally. In Sri Lanka, there was no contrast of color. If someone was fair, if someone was dark, they were treated the same. Those of you who know history, do you know this? Dutugamunu's son, King Dutugamunu's son, what did he do? King Dutugamunu's son fell in love with a low-class girl, right? He fell in love with a low-class girl. Dutugamunu told him, if you are going to marry that low-class girl, you cannot be called a king, right? And remember, low-class people those days were all dark. All of the low-class people were dark like what? Like Africans. Not kidding, okay? Low-class Sri Lankans back in the day, thousands of years ago, everybody was dark like Africans. We call them Rodiculaya. So what happened was, right, exactly, like Africans, like Nigerians. What happened was, now this prince, he fell in love with that girl, not only because of her beauty, but because of her character also. When you fall in love, you don't only fall in love because of their beauty, also because of their character. So what did the prince say? It's like this: I don't want to be a king anymore. I would want to leave my kingship. I will become a normal man from today. Dutugamunu sees this girl, okay? And when Dutugamunu saw this girl, Dutugamunu said, if she was not your wife, I would make her my concubine. Concubine means spare wheel, another extra wife, expendable wife. If she was not your wife, my son, I would make her my wife. So back in the day, Sri Lankans, we didn't care if someone was dark or someone was fair. The beauty is not a constant. It is subjective, and it does not relate to skin color. Sadly, after Western culture was introduced, we were sold upon the idea of fair and lovely. There is no dark and lovely. But do you know, Americans and Westerns, Europeans, they tan their skin. You know, right? They tan their skin. They put on sunscreen and they bathe in the sun. They sunbathe. To get what? To get fairer, to get darker. Western people, Americans, Europeans are trying to get darker and Sri Lankans are trying to get fairer, not realizing that color of your skin does not is nowhere similar, is nowhere near the true beauty of yourself. Right? Something to ponder upon, something to think upon. Yeah, no kidding. Asians, in an average, Asians spend like billions of dollars on beauty products, right? Yeah, right. All of you got it. All of you are very educated, well, knowledgeable people. We can move forward. Then remember, juxtaposition is when you are when you are contrasting and comparing two opposite things: black and white, rich and poor, free and enslaved, smart, stupid, modern and ancient. We can move forward. Stanza number 4. And here's a bloody hand to shake. And oh man, here's goodbye. A bloody hand. That means it can mean many things. One, there might be blood in his hand. Okay. One, there might be blood in his hand. And then there might be he might be meaning a murderer's hand. When someone has done a murder, even though they wash off the blood, their hands are still bloody, right? And here's a bloody hand to shake. That means one, he can really mean exactly literal and metaphorical. Well done, Abdul. There's a literal meaning. There can actually be blood on his hand, or there can be a metaphorical meaning. Metaphorical means there is no blood on his hand, but he is saying he has committed a murder. And oh man, here's goodbye. Now he's using colloquial language. He says, oh man, shit. Aniyayam Allah, enase aniyayam. Oh man, ane ayo muna karanada, muna karumeyadda manda. Oh man, here's goodbye. He feels sad now. Oh man, why is he sad? Not for the murder. He's sad because he's saying goodbye. In the beginning, he said farewell. Now he's saying goodbye. Will sweat no more on scythe and rake. Scythe. Remember this word, very important. Rake. These are tools, right? He regrets leaving. He regrets leaving. He doesn't regret committing the murder. He regrets leaving his city. He regrets because he has to leave the city. He doesn't feel sorry for Maurice. He feels sorry for his mother. He feels sorry for his leaving his hometown. Scythe and rake. Scythe is what you use to cut grass. Now you use a scythe like this. You have to swing your hips with a scythe like this. A scythe is a very large tool. It is also a symbol. Well done, Shamim. It is also a symbol, symbolism. Scythe and rake are symbols. What is a symbol? It is an idea you get. Now, for example, you know this, right? You know this symbol right here. Om. Om is a symbol. Omega is a symbol. Even Hindus have symbols. Now, for example, they say Om, right? Om is a symbol of theirs. Muslims have a symbol. Equally, scythe is a symbol. What is the symbolism brought by the word scythe, by the word rake? When you talk about scythe, it is a symbol of death, the grim reaper. I have a picture of a scythe also. I'll show you that. Scythe is a weapon like this. It's used to cut grass. It looks like this. It is a weapon that looks like this. This is the blade, and this is the base. A scythe is a weapon that the grim reaper use. It is an imagery that talks about death. It is an imagery that talks about death. That is the imagery of scythe, right? Will sweat no more on scythe and rake. My bloody hands and I. He's cursing his hands. My bloody hands and I. Have you heard in Indian films they say bloody fool, bloody, and some words they say, right, in Indian. No, not dakatta, Tika, not dakatta. Dakatta is known as sickle. Bloody hell, well done. Bloody hell. In Harry Potter, Ron says bloody hell, right? And my bloody hands and I will sweat no more on scythe and rake. My bloody hands and I. There's repetition. Now this is repetition. This is repetition. This is anaphora. This is anaphora. This is repetition. Bloody is repetition. And is anaphora. In the beginning, Scythe. It's pronounced not sixth. Scythe. Abdul Rashid. It's pronounced Scythe, not sixth. Scythe. If you want, you can Google the pronunciation. Anaphora means adjacent words begin with the same word. Adjacent lines begin with the same word. It is pronounced scythe, okay? If you want, you can Google the pronunciation. You can find the pronunciation on Google, my friend. Right. Remember, so when you have adjacent lines, nearby lines, they begin with the same word. Anaphora, when the same word is repeated wherever you want, it is repetition. Will is the narrator. No. Will means my bloody hands and I. The bloody hands and I are known as we. Who are we? My bloody hands and I will sweat no more on scythe and rake. My bloody hands and I. A rake is also a gardening tool. A rake is a tool you use to soften the sand. Now a rake has hooks. A rake has hooks like this. Is it a pleasant imagery? Now if you take a feather, and you can caress your face with the feather, right? If you take cotton, you can caress your face with cotton. But a rake, can you caress your face with a rake? No, it's a negative, a painful imagery. It's a painful imagery. Well done. Quas, you have a Hafil, you have found something very interesting. Well done. That's a painful imagery. Rake is a very painful imagery. Apart from that, scythe is a symbol of death. Death. There is personification. Why is there personification? Because my bloody hands and I are called we. So he is giving his bloody hands also a power of personification. He says that he is pretending like his bloody hands are also a separate person. My bloody hands and I are we. Will sweat no more on scythe and rake. My bloody hands and I. All right. Now he is cursing his hands. He does not curse himself. His hands are what committed the murder. He did not commit the murder. His hands committed the murder. Saying that we have reached. Well done. There's connotation also. Bloody hands is connotation. Terence, right. No. Will doesn't mean Terence and the writer. No, and the narrator. No. We means his bloody hands and the narrator. The bloody hands and the narrator are known as will. Right. Theme is conflict. Rhyme. Yes, there is rhyme throughout the stanza. And here's a bloody hand to shake. And oh man, here's goodbye. Will sweat no more on scythe and rake. My bloody hands and I. There's a rhythm. There's a beat. We talked about this in the beginning. Yes. By the way, now I'm going to give you a break. You can Google my name. You can actually YouTube my name. It is Javed Osan. Javed Osan. I hope the letters are clear. And then the phone number you need to contact if you want the other tunes. There are like 50 tunes that you can get. I will send you the most important tunes. It is not 779639434. Send me a message mentioning the seminar. Mention farewell to BST seminar and mention your name. That's it. I will send you all of the tunes. Okay. Yeah, there'll be a 15 minutes break. So I will see you at about sharp 6:15. In the meantime, send me your messages and send me, if you have any doubts, ask them through messages. Apart from that, here's the number on the screen, not 779639434, and I will see you in 15 minutes. All right, fine. As I promised, I'm back again. Fine. Exactly 6:15. We can begin. And wait, now I understand some of you might have some questions regarding Farewell to Bard and Stack Entry. You might have questions regarding literature. You might have questions regarding other poems and other prose. And you might have questions regarding myself. Some of you might want to know who I am, what my beliefs are. So I will give you an option to ask me your questions, okay? Right. So it's like this. Can you kindly raise your hands up if you have a question? I will unmute your mic and then you can ask me your question. We'll give 5 people only the opportunity. After that, until the end, we will not allow you to ask your questions. Raise your hands up if you have a question to ask me. Right. Right. One of you, or a few of you have questions. We'll see. We'll see. Give me a moment. Right. I will see. Right. How about, yes, Shazana? Go ahead, my friend. Ask me. Apologies. Wait, Shazana, where can you raise your hands up? Right. One moment. Let me. Yeah. You can unmute your mic, my friend, and you can ask me your question. Right. What is your?
Shazana, sir, I have problem between paradox and oxymoron.
Understood. Right. Fine. You have a problem between paradoxes and
Can
oxymorons.
I know the difference, sir?
You can definitely. Very simple. Let me tell you, Shazana. Now, an oxymoron. Let me take out my whiteboard first of all. Give me a moment. 1 second, please. Let me take out the whiteboard. Right. Cool. Now, you asked me the difference between paradox. Let me use a different color here. Paradox and an oxymoron. Right. Examples of oxymorons would be war is kind. What else? Stupid genius, speak silence, virtue of slaughter. These are examples for oxymorons, okay? An oxymoron is when you put two opposite things together, it should not make sense, right? You put two opposite things together and it does not make sense. Bittersweet. Now, Shazana, can there be something as a bittersweet thing? It can be bitter and sweet. Doesn't make sense, right? It's either bitter or either sweet. Can someone be a stupid genius? No, right? Doesn't make sense. Can you shut your mouth and eat, Shazana? You can't, right? Those are all oxymorons, right? But now you might have a question, what is a paradox, right? A paradox has a hidden meaning inside. It has a truth. It always loops. There's always a loop in a paradox. Now, the best paradox I can remember is what came first, the chicken or the hen, or the chicken or the egg, right? What came first, the chicken or the egg? Shazana, what's your answer? What came first, the chicken or the egg? Someone might say egg, so the egg came first. Who laid the egg? A chicken. From what did the chicken come out of? An egg. Who laid the egg? A chicken. From what did the chicken come out of? An egg. That's a paradox. Do you understand? There's a loop. That doesn't make sense. A paradox doesn't make sense, but there's a loop. There is a true hidden meaning inside. Now, it's true. The chicken came from an egg and the egg came from a chicken. There's a truth, but it's looping, right? That's the difference between an oxymoron and a paradox. An oxymoron, the best example is war is kind. Can war be kind? No, war can't be kind. You have to kill people. You have to slaughter people. War is kind is an oxymoron. What came first, the egg or the chicken? That is a paradox. To become happy, you must let go of everything. To be happy, you must give up everything. That is a paradox. To be happy, you must give up everything. How can you be happy if you give up everything? But then you will understand, right? Then, my friends, you will understand that if you give up unnecessary people, if you give up wealth, if you give up wasting time, if you give up stressing yourself, you can be happy. That's a paradox. War is kind is not a paradox because it does not loop. It should loop like the egg and the chicken paradox. In the twilight of a crane, in the twilight of a crane, there was a beautiful example for a paradox, right? Now there is a character known as Sue. Sue makes a cloth. Okay, Sue makes a cloth. Those of you who have done Twilight of a Crane will understand this paradox. Then there is a character called Yohoyo, right? This character, he is the husband of Sue. And then there is a character called Sodo. Sodo asks Yo-Yo to sell the cloth. He asks Yo-Yo to make Sue make the cloth, and then Yo-Yo should sell the cloth, okay, and get money and make Sue happy, right? But if Sue makes the cloth, she will be unhappy. If she makes the cloth, Sue will be unhappy. But then Sodo, because Sue is unhappy, Sodo will say to Yohoyo to sell the cloth for money and then make Sue happy with the money. But in order to get the money, Sue must make the cloth, thus she will become unhappy, and the loop continues. Sue must make the cloth for Sodo for Sodo and Yohoyo to get the money and to make Sue happy, but Sue will not be happy because she should make the cloth. This sounds very complicated because I'm explaining this in a very direct way. When we do the Twilight of a Crane in the class, we have already finished the drama, but when we repeat the drama, when we do revision, you will understand the difference between a paradox and an oxymoron. The easiest example is, my friend, what came first, the chicken or the hen? That is a paradox. There's a loop. And there's a hidden meaning. There's a truth behind of it. War is kind is not a paradox. It is an oxymoron. You put two opposite things together, it doesn't make sense. That's a paradox. Stupid genius, bittersweet, walking dead. Those are all paradoxes. I hope you understood that, my friend. Right, there's another question. Stephanie, Christina, you can ask me your question, my friend.
Sir, can you explain that fourth stanza?
The fourth stanza, definitely. I will explain that again. Right, that is related to the poem. I'll explain the fourth stanza again. Thank you so much for your question. How about you, Amal Zulshan? How about you, my friend? Apologies, I lowered your hand down. Amal Zulshan, can you raise your hand up again? Right. Apparently, he is not in the right. Thank you so much, Shazna. She has understood my explanation. There are more examples for paradoxes. Don't worry. There are more examples for paradoxes. Yes. How about you, Abdul? Abdul Shana Samad. You can ask me your question, my friend. You can unmute your mic and ask me, my friend, if you have a question. Go ahead, my friend.
Sir?
Yes, my friend. Go ahead.
Sir, what is sarcasm and oxymoron?
Right. Sarcasm. Okay.
I mean, the difference.
Right. I understand. Right. Sarcasm, when you talk about it, one moment. Yeah. Sarcasm falls under verbal irony. Okay. One moment. Right. Sarcasm falls under verbal irony. It's when you say something, but you mean the opposite thing. This the best example, right? Imagine you have not done your homework. Okay. Imagine you have not done your homework, and your teacher says, very good. My God, you have not done your homework, right? Very good. That is what you should do, Abdul. Mar honda yane. That is sarcasm, my friend. Okay, what you say, you mean the opposite thing, and you are trying to hurt that person using sarcasm. However, when you talk about oxymoron, when you talk about oxymorons, my friend, like I said, you put two opposite things together, and that doesn't make sense. But in the end, it is a word that we use. Now, for example, bittersweet. War is kind. Speak silence. How can you speak silence? That is obviously Obviously, my friend, a oxymoron, right? That is an oxymoron. Sarcasm falls under verbal irony. What you say, you mean the opposite thing. Another example, imagine you have a friend called Fatima. During quarantine, Fatima has eaten so much, she has become double Fatima. Now Fatima looks pregnant. She's that fat, that much fat. You say, Ade Fatima, you've gotten so thin, Ane. Ane Fatima, you've gotten so thin, Ane. Right? That is sarcasm. Do you mean Fatima has gotten thin? You mean the opposite. That is sarcasm. Also, sarcasm resonates to verbal irony. There's a similarity between sarcasm and verbal irony. But sarcasm, you're always hurting someone. That is sarcasm. You are trying to hurt someone using your verbal irony. Verbal irony also, what you say, you mean the opposite thing. Now, for example,
Sir, does voice kind?
yes, brilliant, brilliant. My example right now, war is kind. Now you can find two, what's it called? Two techniques in the same place. War is kind is an oxymoron because it doesn't make sense. Two opposite words are together. Is war really kind, Abdul? Can you go in the war and can you stop fighting and can you take a plate of rice? Here. Yeah, here. Can you take a plate of rice? And very good. Maria. Yeah, die, now die. Can you be kind and fight a war? No, right?
No.
That is obviously an oxymoron. But there is a verbal irony. The intention of the narrator, the intention of the writer, the poet, does he really mean war is kind? He's being sarcastic. War is kind. He's being sarcastic. War is kind. He's using verbal irony. Are you clear, my friend?
Yeah, sir. Then hyperbole is also same, right?
No, hyperbole is different. You are exaggerating. Now, for example, hyperbole falls under visual imagery. You can imagine something using hyperbole. Now, for example, I am so hungry. I tell you, Abdul, I'm very hungry, man. So you think, right, Javed sir is hungry. But I tell you, I am so hungry, I can eat a horse. Hyperbole. I'm so hungry, I can eat a horse. Will I really eat a horse, Abdul?
No.
Obviously not, right? That is hyperbole. You can visualize my hunger, right? You can visualize. You can think of horse. Javed sir is so hungry. A horse is big. Javed sir can eat that horse. He's so hungry. Hyperbole. But is it real? No, it's not real, right? I'm exaggerating. I am taking something small and making it into a big deal so you can visualize it. Another example, imagine your mother comes to you and asks you to clean your room. She says, Abdul, clean your room, Ane. Second time she comes and she says, Abdul, where you have not cleaned your room. Third time she comes and she says, Abdul, you have not cleaned your room. Why haven't you cleaned your room? Fourth time she comes and she says, Abdul, I told you 1,000 times. Why haven't you cleaned your room? 1,000 times I told you. Did your mother really tell you 1,000 times?
No.
Only 4 times, right? But she's not lying, right? That is, she's using hyperbole. She's using hyperbole. You can visualize her anger. You can visualize her mindset. I have told him 1,000 times, Ane. That's hyperbole. Another example, Abdul. You see a beautiful girl, okay? And you want to impress that girl. You tell her, Fatima, you are the most beautiful girl I've ever seen in my life. Is it true? Have you seen all of the girls in the world? Have you done a survey? Have you done a pageant? And have you chosen Fatima as Miss Universe? No, right? But you are using hyperbole. Fatima can visualize your value. I'm the most beautiful girl in the world. She can visualize the world. Are you clear what hyperbole is?
Yes, sir.
Brilliant, brilliant. But this is a very... Go ahead, my friend. Go ahead.
Sir, is the first stanza of Farewell to Barn and Stack Country is using the technique illusion?
Not illusion. There's a technique called allusion. Allusion. Yes, allusion is used, but it is a very complicated technique. The reason it is complicated is some people agree, some people disagree. When now in this story, they are mentioning about Severan Shore, right? That is a real place, right? Severan Shore is a real place. So when you are mentioning something real in a fictional text, that is also allusion. Or when you are referencing to something that is out of the literature circle. Now, for example, I talk about Romeo and Juliet. Abdul, imagine you have a friend called Ahmad, okay? I tell you, Ahmad is such a Romeo, Abdul. Ahmad is such a Romeo. That is allusion. How do you know? What do you mean by Romeo? Is he a romantic person or angry person? Romeo, such a Romeo.
Romantic.
A romantic person. How do you know he's a Romeo? How do you know the meaning of Romeo? Because you know about Romeo and Juliet. That is Shakespeare's playwright. So without mentioning about Shakespeare and mentioning about Shakespeare's play, I have mentioned about Romeo and only Romeo. So that is allusion. I am taking a reference from a different literary creation. That is also allusion. So sometimes teachers, they disagree. They say, no, there is no allusion because using a real life location in a fictional text cannot be classified as allusion because this is not mentioned in the teacher's guide. I did not talk about allusion, but allusion is also another technique that you can find in Farewell to Barn and Stack and Tree, but it is out of our syllabus. I mean, that part is out of our syllabus. Are you clear, Abdul?
Yes, and another personal question.
Go ahead, my friend.
How to motivate ourselves?
How to motivate yourselves? A very simple answer. After this, I will continue with the seminar. You have to motivate yourself by doing what you love, right? Now imagine this, okay? Now I love teaching. So when I teach, I am motivated, I'm energetic, right? If I don't like teaching, I will not be like this. I will not be genuinely happy. So do what makes you happy. Now imagine you want to become, now there was a child I knew, he wanted to become a chef. A chef in the sense he wanted to like work in a five-star restaurant, He wanted to be a prominent chef. But his parents were like, no, only women should cook, men should not cook. But in the end of the day, you should do what makes you happy. What you like to learn, you should learn. What you feel to do, you should do. That is the best way to be motivated. Now imagine if that boy who wanted to be a chef became an engineer, will he be a good engineer? No, right? But if he becomes a chef, he will become perhaps one of the best chefs in the world because he's passionate about being a chef. Ever since he was a kid, he wanted to be a chef. So the best way to motivate yourself is by doing what you love. Learn what you love. It is not about getting 9 A's in the examination. It's about learning what you love. And once you start learning what you love, you get motivated. And once you get motivated, you can learn the other subjects. That is my advice to you, my friend. Right, then we can proceed with the seminar because there are a few more parts to be done. Stanza number 4, I will explain again, okay? So remember this part right here. And here's a bloody hand to shake, and oh man, here's goodbye. We'll sweat no more on scythe and rake, my bloody hands and I. The narrator says, here's a bloody hand to shake my bloody hand. Sometimes he can really have blood in his hands because he murdered Maurice, not by strangling Maurice, not by putting poison inside of Maurice's food. He stabbed Maurice and cut him to pieces, right, with the knife. Stabbed Maurice to death. That means blood must be everywhere. Sometimes he might really have blood in his hands, literal meaning, or it might be a metaphorical meaning. That means sometimes even though he washed the blood off, still he's a murderer, right? Even though you wash the blood off, you're still a murderer if you kill someone. That means he cannot forget the fact that he's a murderer. So sometimes he is a, it can be perhaps he is metaphorically meaning that his hands are covered with blood. No matter how much he washes hands, he is always a murderer. He might be metaphorically talking about that also. And oh man, here's goodbye. So as I was saying, colloquial language, ayo, oh man, oh, like, oh Allah, what can I do? Oh man, ayo aparade. Oh man, here's goodbye. We'll sweat no more on scythe and rake. Me and my hands will sweat no more on scythe and rake. Now, when they are working in the farm, he's a farmer. He works in the farm. He will, you know, what's it called? Clean the farm, right? He will, what's it called? Mow the land. He will be working in the farm using the scythe, using the rake. He'll be sweating in the farm. But in this example, you see there is a scythe. Scythe is a symbol of death, right? A scythe is a symbol of death. The Grim Reaper has a scythe. I have a picture of a scythe also. I'll show you that. And then rake is also a symbol of pain, of suffering, right? When you think of a feather, feather is a positive connotation. It's called a connotation. When you think of a feather, feathers, you think of a very soft, a sweet connotation. You think of a girl's hair, a very soft connotation. But when you think of a rake, it's a very rough, a very painful connotation, a painful feeling you'll get if you think of a rake. These are symbols. These are symbols. My bloody hands and I. Now he's cursing his hands. My bloody hands and I. We, in this case, we is his bloody hands and himself. That is personification. Why? Because his bloody hands and himself is referred to as we. Me and my bloody hands are we. That is a personification also. I think you understand stanza number 4. My friend who asked me the meaning of stanza number 4. And by the way, Amani, like I said, a rake is a painful imagery. You use the rake to soften the ground. You put the rake on the ground and it softens the ground. It takes the sand and the stones out, pulls the sand and stones out of the ground. So there is, you can cultivate the land. No, scythe is a symbol of death. Scythe is a symbol of death. Scythe is a tool used when you farm, but scythe is a symbol of death. Right. That's fine. That's fine. Some of you have only attended the class now. That's completely fine. Right. We have already given you a break, but if you have some work to do, you can do it and come back again, my friend Fatima. Right. The story continues into the 4th stanza. The speaker looks at his hand, holds it out for his friend and says, here's a bloody hand to shake. So shake my bloody hands. That means I'm leaving. When you leave, you shake hands, right? Here's a bloody hand to shake. No, the rake does not symbolize death, but the rake is a painful connotation, right? When you think of the rake, is it a very pleasant feeling, right? When you think of a rose, you think of love, right? When you think of a rake, the sharp rake, will you think of love? You can take a rose close by to your eyes and you can enjoy the rose. The rake, will you take it near your eye? No, you will not. That's a negative connotation. The story continues into the 4th stanza. The speaker looks at his hand, holds it out for his friend and says, here's a bloody hand to shake. Whether it is covered in blood or not, it drew blood, and like Macbeth. Now, if you have read Macbeth, even in Macbeth, when he has committed a murder, they say, your hands are bloody. Macbeth is a drama of Shakespeare, is stained with the act. Exactly, Muhammad. Macbeth is a drama of Shakespeare. Finally, in the 2nd line, it appears the speaker is getting emotional, or at least a little distressed about his situation. He moves through his words unevenly, saying, and oh man, here's goodbye. It is sinking in that he has to leave. From a goodbye to his listener, he says goodbye to the life he had before his bloody hands, and no longer going to sweat on scythe and rake. Together, he also will never work in the farm again. And this person is a farmer. He is in love with the environment. You remember in the 1st stanza, he says goodbye to barn and stack and tree. He says goodbye to the physical objects around his environment. He is in love with his environment, but sadly, he has to leave his environment. The scythe, by the way, those of you who don't know, this is a scythe. Now, I told you the scythe is a big tool. It is it is pronounced, I think you look at the pronunciation, scythe, not seed, not sict, scythe. There's something called sickle. Sickle is the dakatta. Scythe is a big tool. You have to use it to cut long, tall grass. You have to swing it from your hips because the scythe is very hard to hold from one hand. It's very heavy. It's a heavy tool. That's why we don't see people using the scythe in the war. People don't use scythes in war because it's very clumsy. It's a clumsy weapon. But the Grim Reaper or death, the manifestation of death can hold on to the scythe. The scythe is a symbol of death. Rake invokes a painful imagery. Imagine a rake being pulled over your skin. Imagery is painful, right? Stanza number 5, almost there, almost done. I wish you strength to bring you pride. Now he's talking to Terence. Now in this line, he is talking to Terence. I wish you strength to bring you pride. Terence is also a farmer. When farmers are strong, what will farmers do? They will cultivate their land. They will farm in their land. Remember, when will I feel proud? When my students approach me after their exams and they say, sir, I got an A for English literature because of you, sir. I got A for English language because of you, sir. When my students approach me and they tell me that they have gotten A's for their examination, that will make me proud. When a farmer has cultivated the land and there's a huge harvest, the farmer will feel proud. Hey, look at my land. Hey, look at all of the cultivated harvest. Look at my great strength. I feel proud. A farmer will feel proud if he is strong. If the farmer is a Sottipala, the farmer has corona, the farmer is coughing and the farmer is using drugs, heroin, and the farmer doesn't work, can the farmer have a big harvest? If the farmer is lazy, the farmer sleeps all day, will the farmer have a big harvest? No. So obviously, the nameless narrator is wishing Terence, I wish you strength to bring you pride and a love to keep you clean. Find a clean love. Don't find unholy love. When we say clean means accepted by God. Accepted by God. You're right, my friend. Muhammad, sin, without sin. A love to keep you clean. Find a love, find a girl that keeps you away from trouble. Find a girl, find a love that is endorsed by God. No, there is no girl here, Ilma. He's saying this to Terence. He's saying the entire poem. The entire poem is talking to Terence. Terence, look your last at me. He's talking to Terence. I wish you strength to bring you pride and a love to keep you clean. And I wish you luck come Lamastide. Remember, Lamastide is a festival like Aurudu. Lamastide is a festival like the Alut Aurudu Utsave in Sri Lanka, the harvest festival. Some people say that Lamastide is the name of the girl. No, my friends. Lamastide is not the name of a girl because there is no name called Lamastide, and they are farmers. They are talking about the harvesting festivals. Some teachers will say, some teachers will say Lamastide is the name of a girl, but no, I don't agree. It's not in the teacher's guide also. Lamastide is actually the festival. Right. By the way, this is Anaphora. Adjacent lines beginning with the same word. I wish you strength to bring you pride and a love to keep you clean. And I wish you luck come Lamastide at racing on the green. By the way, this can mean two things, okay? But we don't really want this. Racing on the green can mean working very hard on the harvest. On the Lamastide festival, they get the harvest right. They harvest their crops. But there is another example. Sometimes it can mean a horse race. There's another, some scholars say it might mean a horse race because in Lamastide they have horse races also. But I believe this means working very hard on the field. Working on the green means, racing on the green means working hard on the field, harvesting all of the crops. I wish you luck come Lamastide at racing on the green. Right. By the way, now if you say brilliant, the you, I think you, yes, you is repetition. Well done, Fatima. You is repetition. And is anaphora, you is repetition. Let me mark that also. You can take a screenshot of it. You is repetition right here. Right. Come Lamastide at racing on the green. Yes, the adjacent lines, okay? The first words. Now, for example, sometimes if the first word of the first line and the fourth line are the same, that is also anaphora. Adjacent lines should be close by, not touching lines. Adjacent lines should be close by. That is also anaphora. But in this case, the lines are touching each other. That is anaphora. Right. The fifth stanza. In the fifth stanza, the narrator speaks to the listener, Terence, telling them that He wishes him well. He hopes that Terence will find a love to keep him clean. This is likely a reference to romantic love, or perhaps a passion in life to keep him out of trouble. Like if you have a proper love in your life, you will stay out of trouble. If you are in love with a girl, right, God will endorse your love. If you are in love with a married woman, you are in love with another man. Now, a man is in love with another man. I'm talking about not about the other sides of our culture. I'm talking about the poem. You are in love with a horse, right? Will God endorse your love? You are in love with a married woman. Very good, very good. I bless you, my child. You are in love with another man. Okay, very good. I bless you, my child. You are in love with a horse. Brilliant. Will God endorse your love? No, God will not. God will not endorse your love. That is not a love that will keep you clean. But you're a boy. You're 16, 17. You are in love with a girl, 16, 17. God will endorse your love. If you want to marry her, if you hope to marry her in the future, give her a good life, God will endorse your love. That is what he's talking about. A love to keep you clean. Not in love with a prostitute, not in love with a murderer. Both of you are going to get together and rob a bank. That is not the love he's talking about. Love that will keep you away from trouble. Love that will keep you clean, right? Love that will keep you away from sin. This is likely a reference to romantic love, or perhaps a passion in life to keep him out of trouble, a love away from sin. Obviously, the speaker did not have this feature in his life to keep him clean. The use of the word clean in this line should be noted. He would like his hands to be clean, but they are bloody. There's nothing he can do to wipe away his deed. Now, the narrator has committed a sin. It's clear the speaker wants nothing but a positive future for his friend. He wishes him good luck, strength, a love to keep him clean. But in wishing him so, he is contrasting his own painful future with a happy and prosperous one. But sadly, will the narrator be able to celebrate Lamastide? The narrator can celebrate Lamastide in prison. Working in the prison garden, the narrator will not be able to celebrate Lamastide. So he feels the pain. Right. Yeah, I will explain the fifth stanza again also very quickly, right? Because there are a few inquiries. I wish you strength to bring you pride. If you are strong, if you're a strong farmer, Terence, I'm the narrator. Terence, if you are a strong farmer, you can work very hard in your farm. You can work very hard in your field. You can get a big harvest. And then you will be proud. You can show everyone, hey, Fatima, come, look at my harvest. It's very big, right? Hey, Tamil Shelvi, come on, look at my harvest. It's big, right? You like big harvest. Apart from that, he will be proud. Nusra's mama, look at my harvest. Very big, right? See, I'm a rich farmer now. You would want me to marry your daughter. Right. And love to keep you clean. Clean means away from sin. A proper love. Not a love with a prostitute. Not a love with a horse. Not love with another man. This is love to keep you away from sin. God must bless your love. You must be in love with a woman your age whom you want to marry and live a beautiful life with. God will bless that love. Not in love with another robber. Both of you want to get together and rob a bank. That is not a love to keep you clean. Love to keep you clean means a love that will keep you away from sin. And I wish you luck come Lamastide. Next Lamastide, if you have luck, if you can have a big harvest, if you can work very hard on the field next Lamastide, I will be happy. I wish you luck on that Lamastide, on the festival, on the harvesting festival. So racing on the green can be harvesting or can be horse racing. But in this case, I believe it's harvesting. Some teachers, they say horse racing because horse racing is also found in Lamastide. But this, I believe, they are harvesting food. Yeah, I mean, romance before marriage, is it clean? I mean, yeah, if you want to marry a girl, if you love her, that is accepted by God, right? I mean, if you love that girl with your heart, you want to marry her, That is accepted by God, right? Well done. There is juxtaposition here. He juxtaposes his life and Terence's life. Terence, you will be able to celebrate Lamastide. You will be able to love a woman. You will be able to have a great harvest. You will be able to celebrate Lamastide and race on the green. But I will not be able to celebrate Lamastide. I will not be able to find love because I will be running from the law. He is juxtaposing Terence's life and his life. Well done. I think you understood this. It is clear the speaker wants nothing but a positive future for his friend. But in wishing him so, he is contrasting his own painful future with a happy and prosperous one. In the third line, he references Lamastide. Lamastide is a holiday celebrated on August 1st to mark the wheat harvesting festival. Clean means, the best idea means, clean means away from sin. By the way, don't use the word homosexual, prostitute in your what's it called, analysis. I'm giving you the clear idea without filtering it. You should know in the analysis we don't write these words. We say a love away from sin. Clean means away from sin. Right. Number 6. Long for me the rick will wait, and long will wait the fold, and long will stand that empty plate, and dinner will be cold. This is like a slap in the face. This is like a slap in the face. I'll tell you why. There's anaphora. There is alliteration. What is alliteration? Alliteration. Adjacent words beginning with the same sound. Alliteration. Right. There is anaphora, there is alliteration, and in this case, anaphora, let me write that also, anaphora. There's another technique, not in this, it's called epistrophe. Epistrophe is the opposite of anaphora. Epistrophe is the opposite of anaphora, but it is not found in farewell to BST. Epistrophe is found in breakfast, epistrophe, but it is not in your syllabus. Repetition is... yeah, repetition is also found. Repetition is also found. Repetition. Yes. Right. Will. That's right. Will. Now, again, remember, will indicates what? The future, right? So he's talking about the future. Long for me, the rick will wait. That is personification. Personification. The rick is another word for a haystack. Rick is another word for a haystack. Long for me, the rick will wait. Not Rick. Rick is not a name, okay? Some people say Rick is a name. No, the rick. This is not capital. If it was a capital R, it's Rick. Rick is a name, but this is the haystack. The haystack will wait for me. And long for me, the rick will wait. And long will wait the fold. Fold is where the cattle is, where his sheep and his cattle is. The enclosure for where you keep sheep and cattle. And long will wait the fold. And long will stand the empty plate. Another personification. The empty plate will stand and dinner will be cold. What is he saying here? This talks about, the final 2 lines talks about his mother. I am someone, now I lost my parents when I was 17. You might know, a lot of you might know this story. Lost my parents when I was 17. I am someone who is heavily emotional about mothers, right? When there's a mother story, mama story, I cry. There's a boy who told me he lost his father when he was in my school, actually. He's my student. He was my student. Now he died. He did his A-levels this year. I thought all of the students in Amal International are rich because it's a international school, a private school, community school. I thought that all of the pupils were rich, but this boy was not. His mother sells food, sells rice packets and sends him to school. I cried, but I don't cry usually, but when he told me that, I cried. And I told him, you have to work very hard. You have to prove your mother, you have to prove to your mother that you can work very well. I worked very hard with him. I gave extra time for him, taught him extra, because I'm very emotional about when you talk about your mothers, because I lost my parents when I was 17. So it's very hard for me to, when they talk about mothers and parents, it's very hard for me to comprehend it. But as I was saying, now he's talking about his mother. Right, what is he talking? And long will stand the empty plate. Now there's a custom in European countries. is that when someone is dead, they will leave an empty plate for that person. Now, for example, in your house, when you watch TV, there's a place you sit, right? Hands up if you have a place you sit in your house. Raise your hands up. When you watch TV, that's a special place. Only you can sit in that place. If your brother, sister sits in that place, you'll kick them. Yeah, all of you. Most of you have a special place, right? When eating dinner also, you can put your hands down. Thank you so much. When eating dinner also, they have their specific places. Father will sit in one place. The mother will sit in a specific place. The children will sit in their specific relevant places. So in this case, where Maurice is the dead brother, where he sits down, the mother will have an empty plate there. Okay, where Maurice sits down, the mother will have an empty plate there. And then there's a son who ran away. For him, the mother will have food on the plate. And the mother will be waiting for my son. The mother will not think the son had committed the murder. The mother will never believe that. Even because the mother has found the dead body of Terence in the future, the mother will find the dead body of Terence, not Terence, apologies, Maurice. In the future, because mother would find the dead body of Maurice, mother would know, okay, my son is dead. But the mother will never accept that the nameless narrator committed a murder. The mother will wait for him. My son will come for me one day. My son will come. He will be hungry. What does your mother say? The first thing you go home, what will your mother tell you? Puta, come and eat. I have your food ready. Food is in the kitchen. Food, come, let's eat. Even I am not privy, I don't have that privilege. But when my friends, I'm 25 now, when my friends go home, when I go home with my friends, the first thing their mother asks them is, Puta, why don't you come and eat? I have food for you. You must be hungry. We might have eaten kottu, we might have eaten a lot of things. But whenever my friends go to their home, first thing the mother would ask is, you want to eat? I have your food ready. So the mother will have food on a plate, waiting for her son, waiting for the nameless narrator who murdered his brother, waiting for him with the food. Or it might mean something else. Can the mother eat properly? When both of her sons are gone, will the mother be able, both of my sons are gone. Yeah, watalappa. Pudding. Yeah, my sons are gone. One of my son is dead. Will the mother eat very well? No, right? Never. The mother will not eat properly, so her dinner will be cold. Her dinner will lose the heat. The mother will eat very slowly. Sometimes the mother might not eat at all. Dinner will be cold. Dinner will be cold. That is what they mean in this example. So it can mean either she's waiting for her son to eat, or she is eating very slowly. Her dinner will be cold. Right. That is the idea you get from the 6th stanza. Yeah, and by the way, there is another seminar. We are doing a seminar of all of the poems of life. We are doing a seminar of all 4 poems under the topic life. It's on Sunday. You can find that seminar on the EduZone website. I will share my artwork with you also. If you have sent me a message through WhatsApp, I will share the artwork of that seminar also. Share that artwork with your friend. The 28th is my birthday, right? Sunday is my birthday. So it would be amazing if all of you can join that seminar and celebrate my birthday it's a free seminar. It's a free seminar. All of you, if you can join that seminar, it would mean a lot to me. So I can celebrate my birthday in a productive way, in a very positive way. It is at 11 o'clock. You can find in the EduZone website. Let me show you. If you go to the EduZone website, I believe it's here. Free for all Royale O-level English literature webinar, theme of life. Sunday, 28th of March, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Celebrate the birthday of the King of Literature in an iconic seminar. So this is where you find it. You can go to the website. You can register now itself. You will find tunes like this also. All of these tunes there will be special tunes. You can't find those tunes in my class also. Exclusive tunes will be given to you, will be shared with you. So all 4 poems will be covered. That means you can get an A get 15 marks for your analysis, because in the examination, definitely you will get 1 poem from the theme of life. So I have never done, right, all of you, I believe you're waiting. No, I'm 25. On March, I'm 25. I'm 24 now. On March 28th, I'll be 25. So very excited. I was born in 1996. Long time ago, to be honest. But so I'm hoping to celebrate that birthday with you, because it would be more productive. It would be more productive, to be honest, Right. Fine. Saying that, we can move forward. We can go towards the end of right. Yeah, please do join. You can find the link in the website. So you should join as no, it's here. It's free actually. You can see it's free, by the way. LKR rupees 0. It's free. You can join. Ask your friends to join also. If you can share the link with them. I will also there is a kind of a grasshopper here. There's a grasshopper here. That's why I was a bit hesitant. You can find I will share the artwork with you also, along with all of the other. Give me a moment. Let me just send it out. Okay. Give me 1 second. Yes, and grade 10s, grade 9s can also join. I don't kill animals usually. That's why I took some time. I have to send it out. I don't like killing animals, but I'm afraid of grasshoppers. I don't know. I'm afraid of cockroaches, grasshoppers. Not, I don't know why. Right. So I don't kill animals. So I send it out. I'm actually not that kind of a person who likes killing animals. Right. Cool. Fine. Let's go to the final part. Right. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much for your positive feedbacks, my friends. Thank you so much, Renushi. Yeah. And may God bless you too. Also, all of you. Thank you so much for your positive feedbacks. Right. We will talk about the final stanza. In the last 4 lines, the speaker tells the listener that the rick or stack of hay is going to wait for him. Personification. The stack of hay can't wait, but he imagines that the stack of hay will be waiting for him. It will be there in the field forever now, as his hands will never touch it again. The same can be said for the fold, the empty plate at his mother's kitchen table, and the food on that plate. It will soon be cold. A fold is a reference to a pen or enclosure in which animals are kept, where you keep livestock, where you keep sheep, you keep cattle. Anaphora is used. We talk about that. Rick is a haystack. Fold is an enclosure for livestock. Right. I believe we have come to an end in this session. There are some, there is an analysis that we can actually do. We will not do the entire analysis because we are actually out of time. I don't want to keep you waiting here. I will roughly show you the analysis. For farewell to barn and stack and tree. Right. There are 2 questions that we are focusing on. Let me remove the watermark, by the way. Right. As I mentioned, by the way, the empty plate symbolizes that the mother will be waiting for, will be acknowledging the fact that one of her sons will never return again. One of her sons is dead, right? And he will never be returning again. That is why she will leave an empty plate for him, right? Now, there is a question, why did the narrator kill Maurice, right? As per your teacher's guide, it's a love triangle. Both of them love the same girl, right? That is why they had an argument and they murdered. They wanted to, one brother murdered the other brother. So Maurice was murdered by the nameless narrator because both of them love the same girl. That is what the teacher's guide tell us. But some scholars, now they say that is a story of homosexuality. Maybe, don't write this in your exam. Out of the syllabus, scholars say that maybe this person, maybe the nameless narrator, was a homosexual. And maybe his brother got to know about that he's a homosexual, and that is why he murdered his brother. Some people say that also, but there is no true backstory. We can use our imagination, but in the teacher's guide, it says that there is a love triangle, because they don't want you to write about homosexuals in the analysis. Don't do it. But if you want, you can do some external reading. In the external reading, it says that This person, the narrator, nameless narrator, was a homosexual, and the person, and in this case, Maurice found out that he's a homosexual. Thus, he murdered Maurice. Right. So that we can focus on an analysis. So we will focus on the first one, first example analysis. Impulsiveness in adolescence can lead to repentance. How far do you agree with the given statement? Discuss drawing examples from Farewell to Barn and Stack and Tree. This was found in the 2020-2021 Western Province paper, the paper before the O-level examination paper. The O-level examination paper question is also found here. 2020-2021 March O-level examination question. Farewell to Barn and Stack and Tree poetically depicts the emotional conflict of an individual. That is easy. We will do the hard one. Impulsiveness in adolescence. Impulsive means you are taking decisions without thinking. You are taking decisions without thinking. Impulsiveness in adolescence. Adolescence means that a person is a young adult. A person is like 19, 20. Exactly. Agreed, Muhammad Shumail. Repentance. Repentance means you are regretting. You are repeatedly regretting what you have done. Repentance. You should know the meanings of these words. If not, this will be very hard for you. Repentance means he's regretting. Why did I do this? I'm leaving my home. I'm leaving my mother. I cannot celebrate Lamastide. He is regretting. The session will be over now. I will not do the analysis. You can read it for your external reading. You can have the analysis, read it by yourself. I will just explain the structure of the analysis. Now, when you are writing an introduction, now you understand the keywords: impulsiveness, taking quick decisions without thinking, quick decisions with little reason, adolescence, young adult, repentance, repeated regret. All of these three things should be talked about in your analysis. You must repeat them again and again. You must paraphrase the question in every paragraph, right? We talk about how to write analysis in my class. Exactly, Mohammed. It's called the plug. You have to plug the question again and again, right? Impulsiveness. Here's an example. By now the blood is dried and Maurice amongst the hay lies still, and my knife is by his side. Obviously, murdering someone means you are impulsive. You're not thinking about the consequences. You're not thinking about what could happen after I commit the murder. Impulsiveness. That is an example for impulsiveness. Another example, regretful exit. Now, regret is also found in the question, right? Repentance is another word for repeated regret. He regrets that he is leaving his hometown. That is why he says farewell to all of the inanimate objects, farewell to barn and stack and tree. Now remember, this is called a pre-analysis. I am writing the structure of my analysis first, and using that structure, I can write a proper analysis. Right. So as I was saying, there's a regretful exit, right? Regretful exit in the sense he does not want to leave. Another example, and here's a bloody hand to shake, and oh man, here's goodbye. Oh God, here's goodbye, and oh man, here's goodbye. A regretful exit, an example for a regretful exit. Then he regrets deserting his mother. He regrets leaving his mother. Deserting his mother. My mother thinks us long away, 'tis time the field were mown. She had 2 sons at rising day, tonight she'll be alone. And then there's another example, regretting that he's deserting his mother, and long will stand the empty plate and dinner will be cold. Now I have my ideas down. A pre-analysis is like my plan, my structure, right? Exactly. Deserting means leaving, my friend. So this is the structure I must follow. Once I have got my structure down, I need to use an introduction. Now you see, I have written an authentic introduction. This is completely my ideas. You can check if you want. After the introduction, I will use all of those examples and explain about those examples, thus completing the analysis. You must read this analysis carefully. Only then will you understand how to write an analysis. In my classes, we always, every single week, we write an analysis. We take a lot of time. We take around 2 hours to discuss about an analysis. So I know having a 2-hour long session will not be practical. You will not, it will not be entertaining. I know seminars must be entertaining. They should not be boring and time consuming. So I will leave the reading part to you. go ahead, read this part. If you have any doubts, even if you are a student of my class, if you are new, if you are just joining the seminar, completely fine. You can send me a message through WhatsApp and ask me the meanings of these words. Now, let me just read the introduction. You might find it interesting. Hausmann's Farewell to Barn and Stack and Tree is no less than a lexical masterpiece. Lexical means words. A masterpiece made of words, themed with conflict is the theme, remember. The ballad consists of six structured stanzas. Remember, I should pretend that the person who is reading my analysis has never read the creation before. I must tell them every single thing I know about the analysis, about the poem Farewell to Barn and Stack and Tree, that attempts to communicate a priceless morale to the reader. There's a morale. What is it? The morale is delivered through the confessions of the nameless narrator. After a thorough inquisition, it is clear that the narrator has murdered his brother Maurice and now attempts to flee the scene and his hometown. What's a ballad, by the way? A ballad is a poem with a proper rhythm, a poem that can be sung, that has a protagonist, that narrates a story, and it can be sung. It has a rhythm. Farewell to Barn and Stack and Tree, farewell to Sever and Show. I believe you might not have been in the beginning. We explained all of these things in the beginning. A duet, remember, a duet is a song that is sung by two people. For example, father and son. I was once like you are now, and I know it's not easy to become, but I know that is a duet, father and son. However, this is not a duet. This is a ballad. And in father and son, there is no proper rhythm. I was once like you are now has no proper rhythm. But this has a proper rhythm, like you are marching. Fine. Then we can end this session. You have both of these tunes. Please send me a message through WhatsApp. I will share with you all of the tunes I have regarding English literature for free. If you are a student of my class, you can get the printouts. Now, I believe in this tomorrow also a few pupils are hoping to get the printouts. You can come to my home. Those of you who have reached me. So your tunes are ready. I remember like a few pupils, like 10 pupils who wanted the printed tunes. Like I said, we have colored tunes for you. I don't print black and white now, because literature has to be interesting. So those of you who have coordinated with me through WhatsApp, who wanted the printed tunes, you can get them. And those of you who want the e-tunes, those of you who have joined our seminar and want the e-tunes, can drop me a message to 077 963 9434. Mention farewell to BST, Barn and Stack and Tree webinar. Right. And ask me for the tunes. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. I will. And by the way, let me prove to you. Everybody, now these were sent today. But usually, if you send me a message, if you are in my class and you send me your homework, if you send me a message regarding literature, let me show you one example. Right. Let me show you an example. Now, if you have sent me, now usually pupils in my class, they send me their analysis. I don't know why it's taking long to load. Right. Now, for example, if you have sent me your analysis, I will send you a voice record. All right, hey there, my friend, what's going on? I was able to take a look at your analysis. It's a complete. I will send you a voice record also, and I will give you a grading for your analysis. So through WhatsApp, I will coordinate with all of the pupils. Now, we don't have a group actually. We coordinate individually with all of the pupils. That's why you see so many messages. So after the seminar is over, I will take some time to answer all of these messages. If you have sent me your analysis, I will correct them. So we are working very hard to drive your grading towards an A. So I believe there is no other online class in Sri Lanka that focuses so much on the pupil, grading your homework, giving you physical tunes, giving you sessions, online sessions for free. So hopefully I will see you next Sunday at 11 a.m. That is when we have planned our next seminar. In this seminar, we are focusing on 4 lessons, 4 poems, all 4 poems of life. Saying that, if you have any questions about how to get the tunes, how to get the printouts, Yes, if you have any remarks regarding the other seminar or this seminar, please drop me a message through WhatsApp. I reply within 1 hour. So I reply within 1 hour. So it was a pleasure teaching you. I hope that my passion towards literature has somehow been contagious, and somehow you have gotten my passion also. I hope you've learned a lesson in life, and I hope that I will be seeing you next Sunday, same place but a different time, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the afternoon. Take care, everyone. Have an extraordinary week. Have a productive week. Thank your parents for giving you the luxury to study in a online environment, for spending their money and their hard work towards your future. And take care. All the best.